What's going on, everybody? Going to a card show today with my dad. It has been a minute since we've been to one. Um, but, it's a local show. Supposed to be a pretty big show. It's supposed to be something like 250, 300 tables at the Sacramento Convention Center. So we're excited to go hang out and just check out what they have. Will I buy anything? Maybe. Hopefully. That'd be great. But between the two of us, I'm sure we'll come home with something. So excited to take a look and share with you the day. All right, so in I went, and this is right in downtown Sacramento, right in the heart of Sacramento. And big facility here, big room, wasn't totally full. Probably ended up being about 150 tables. And the crowds were okay. It wasn't crowded, but it wasn't bare either. But that just gave us more room to move around. And right off the bat, I found my first vintage table. And check out these beauties. Some sweet T206s, several Hall of Famers in there. T205 Rube Marquard right in the middle of the case. Get a better look here. There's an Iron Man McGinnity. There's a couple of... There's a Moberg there, beautiful Moberg. Sharp card, actually. Huey Jennings. Miller Huggins. Some really nice stuff. That's a really sweet Yogi Berra rookie down in the bottom left-hand corner. Asking $1,300 on that. And then some 52 tops up there, and then a bunch of raw stuff right above some other beauties. How about that Spawn over there? Love that card. Got a couple Lou Alcindors. There's that Spawn, a better look at it. Next to a Babe Ruth. Wasn't going to ignore that. Got some sweet stuff in here. Some Jackie Robinsons, some Roberto Clementes, Willie Mays. All the big names. Some really sweet stuff. I love that 52 Spawn there. There's a little bit of a closer look. That Symbol of Courage Roy Campanella card is a cool one. Featured that recently on a show for cards under 50. And this was the Sports Bros. They're out of Reno, California. And I kept on moving. There was a Joe Jackson card there up at the top. That's not something you see every day. A Hank Greenberg rookie card. A nice Reggie Jackson rookie card. Some other stuff in there. Anything from vintage to modern in this case. Next to it were some vintage football cards. A couple Jim Browns caught my eye. That 63 Jim Brown is one I've been looking to add to my collection for a long time. I've been wanting that card for a while. So I decided to take a closer look at that one. Here it is. He's asking $325 on it. Really hard to find this card well centered. That's the biggest problem. This one's in a PSA 6 for $325.
One more too.
And then I ended up
didn't want to reach in there without
taking a look at
thinking I'm crazy.
another brutal Jim Brown card. The 62 with the black border. It's a cool looking card. Certainly had those up in the think tank for the remainder of the day. Took note of where it was at. And then I found an incredible booth. This company, his son, the man I'm going to talk to, his son started a company and became the handler and agent for Pele for the last 10 years of his life. As a result, was able to meet a lot of the top soccer players of all time, including Messi, and did lots of autograph signings with Messi and Pele and others.
Wow. And are any of those things from that signing?
Excuse me.
So 10 days before he died, he signed that ball right there. That's a pretty cool ball, too. And the fact
So that's a replica of the 58
Sure.
World Cup final.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. And that's the jersey. That's the replica of the colour. In '58, they wore blue in the World Cup final in Sweden.
That's really cool. I appreciate you sharing all that with me.
It's all right. My pleasure.
The Usain Bolt.
Is it actually from the...
No, it's not from
It's
it,
a
but
replica?
yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
And then is this from the signing that you
No.
guys recently did with Connor?
No, the glove, the most recent one we... this is the gloves. Look.
Look at him, how fast he's going.
Look, he throws them on the floor and our guys have to pack them up.
That's so Connor.
So that video was of Pele 10 days before he passed away. His son was down in Brazil doing an autograph signing with him, which is where that brown ball, the replica ball, was signed. Unbelievable stuff at this booth. Just blew my mind. So I kept on moving along, and here was some vintage wax that was for sale. Always fun to see vintage wax. I'm not really a vintage wax guy, but I do appreciate it. And then I went over to my guy Mo's table, and he's got good stuff, but he brought some stuff I hadn't seen before, which kind of was mind-blowing. You'll see here in a second. So here's some of his basketball cards, and more basketball cards, including a few Star Jordan rookies and Fleer Jordan rookies. And he said, oh yeah, I've got a lot more Star Jordans. I've got a lot of sealed packs of Star as well. And I'm like, what? And he goes, oh yeah. He just reaches down and he starts pulling out sealed bags. This is how they came from Star, the team bags. You've heard about the team bags. Well, here they are. Here's one with Olajuwon on the front. And those cards came in baggies like this. And yes, he has some Jordan ones as well. He didn't bring them with him. But he still has multiple Jordan Star 101 team bags unopened. And these 4 he had on hand, which I hadn't seen these in years, a sealed bag like this. As a kid, I had seen them. But that was pretty darn cool to see those in the flesh. So then I kept looking at some of his other cases. He's got some beautiful 53 Topps cards. And you can see a nice Hank Aaron rookie in the center there, and a 52 Willie Mays. Multiple mantles in this case at the top. Beautiful Koufax rookie. Bunch of 65s. 69s. Just gorgeous cards. You can see a Pete Rose rookie. Several Rose cards here in this case. He's got really high-end stuff. Sweet 62 Marichal over there. Some Johnny Bench rookies. Nolan Ryan rookies. Yastrzemski. Then he's got, look at his 2 Namath rookies here.
He won't send a PSA.
Lou Alcindor rookie card. I'm sitting here talking to Mo and my dad. We're complaining about PSA and how tough they've been grading. And Mo's just like, I don't understand, man. They're grading me so tough now. So I started going through his boxes, and first his vintage football, raw stuff. You see some Joe Green rookies and some sweet Namath cards. This is a really tough set. Any set from the 70s that has lots of color on the borders just chipped so easily. They didn't make cards then like they're making these cards now. Got some O.J. Simpson in there. And then I started going through some of his slabbed boxes. There's a couple of those baseball scoops cards, which are super cool, that he recently got graded. And he had some raw ones too, which we'll see here in just a minute. And I just took my time. I'm showing you a few of the highlights, but I took my time going through these boxes. They're sure fun to see his cool stuff. And you never know if something might sneak up to get me. There's another one of those Scoops cards. And another. He had a lot of them, and he sent quite a few in not that long ago for grading. And then some he left raw. There's another Aaron one. Nice Eddie Matthews and a Joe Torre. He's got these just boxes of Hall of Fame players, and you'll see, you know, an $800 card in there or a $15 card in there. Just the variety is just unbelievable. Got some nice 68s. A couple of All-Stars and League Leaders and stuff in there as well. And then at the back, he had a few. He's mostly a PSA guy, but he does have some SGC. There's a nice Goose Gossage rookie. And then a few other cards. A nice Tony Oliva and a Hank Aaron, 55 Bowman. And then I made my way over to more of his raw stuff. I just kind of dug into these and started going through these. Cool 58 Warren Spahn. Again, when you go to Moe's table and you go through some of these boxes, you could find literally just about anything in here, whether it's raw or graded. So it's fun to dig because the surprises are around every corner. You could see more of those leader cards, which I think are extremely undervalued by the hobby. Cards that have Hank Aaron and Willie Mays on them for like $35. Got a few Tom Seaver Rookie Cup cards there from his second year card. Just some cool, just stacks and stacks. And he probably had, I don't know, 20 of these types of boxes. And I don't always go through all of them, but I'll say, Mo, where's the new stuff? And he'll show me this box, this box, this box. And I always go through all his new stuff. Nice 69 Ernie Banks there. And then a couple more of those scoops. So again, he had these two raw. They kind of caught my eye. But then I noticed in one of the boxes he had quite a few, which I'll show you here next. Nice Fergie Jenkins rookie. Another. Just tons and tons of cards. He's always got lines of people shoulder to shoulder to get into his boxes, which I totally understand. I mean, when you go to card shows, the hunt is part of the fun. Not just the showcases, but there's a nice 55 Bowman Minoso. Roger Maris, a Whitey Ford, a Billy Martin, a Hank Aaron. Just, you know, it'll jump from 66s to 58s. It'll just be like a couple of boxes of Hall of Famers and minor stars. There will be a raw box. There will be a graded box. And I think, like the rest of us, the treasure hunt of what might be next is part of the fun for it. My dad's on my left as we're doing this, and he's looking through some cards. That's his hand there reaching in. He's looking through cards as well. And at this point, I hadn't bought anything. And I saw this Campanella. I mean, man, $45 for a 55 Bowman Roy Campanella. Seemed like a pretty decent looking card. I think I ended up going back to it, and it might have had a little surface wrinkle. But I don't think that's shown on camera here. But that card is just a cool card. I just think Roy Campanella is underpriced. Here's that box of the baseball scoops, those new scoops I had mentioned earlier, and I'm just going through these slowly. And his prices on them seem really reasonable. And you just got, you know, star after star, and that's the cool thing. And this Ty Cobb is asking $10, and it's super sharp. Back look clean. I set that aside. These are from 1961.
Nellie Fox, and just, they're super cool. Mathewson. That one caught my eye, too. I almost pulled that one aside. I did pull it aside. And that Mathewson, I think, ended up, I saw some corner damage on the bottom right-hand corner. So I ended up putting that back in the pile. So what I usually do is I'll pull ones aside that catch my eye, and then I take a closer look at them. And so that's what I did here. Is I'm going through. This is my first blush through. Is I pull out the ones that look cool, and then I look over for condition and consider pricing and all that kind of stuff. So that one, like Walter Johnson, new Scoops card, pulled that aside for a closer look as well. And, you know, I don't know a ton about these. I know that I think they're cool, and I know that these ones, I mean, these are from 1961, and a lot of times this is a cool-looking Jackie Robinson one, but he had 50 on that. So I pull aside that Carl Hubble, I pull out the Jackie Robinson, and the prices of them, you know, it's when you got a raw card, it's kind of tough to know what the price is, but I ended up buying a couple. I bought this Ty Cobb here, and he ended up selling it to me for $5. A little off-center side to side, but the corners and the edges are sharp. And then I bought the Walter Johnson for $5 as well, so the two of them were $10. The Walter Johnson is super, super sharp. I was excited to pick that up. Then we had Bo Jackson in the house. He was signing autographs. So I got my first purchase in the bag now. And Bo Jackson arrived right around noon. So I went over to check him out. Him and Deion Sanders, to me, are the two greatest athletes that I ever saw participate in sport. And those guys are just incredible. So then I kept on moving through, and this table had some cool non-sport stuff. There's some cool political cards and things. You can see the George Washington and the Abe Lincoln. I just think these are cool-looking cards. Now I'll scroll back up here, and you'll see at the top there are a couple of Disney cards. I love those Disney cards there. He had a bunch of relic cards, like lots of vintage relic players from Gehrig and Ruth, and there's a Sanella Ruth there, and a bunch of Ruth relic cards, DiMaggio relics, and Mantle relics, and just tons and tons of this kind of stuff. It's super fun to check those out. You can hear him talking to him about his inventory, and he's like, I'm a collector, and if I don't sell this stuff, it's great because I still like having it. And that's really the way to be, you know, even if you're a dealer. Sometimes the mentality of, you know, I like having this stuff, so if I don't sell it, I'm not going to give it away.
That's my
It's just
dad.
a side thing. My dad's next to me, and we're hanging out, and you've got some Ty Cobb relics and all sorts of just really, really cool stuff.
Most of it comes off of eBay.
Yeah.
Got some Jackie Robinson stuff.
There's plenty of game used stuff like this.
We're talking about how he picks his inventory up, and he said, I get a lot of it off of eBay. I just find ones that are good deals and buy those and stay away from the ones that sell for too much. So I came over here. My dad's looking at that 59 Roberto Clemente in a PSA 6, and he's giving it a long look, and it was a sharp card. He earlier in the day picked up a Ricky Henderson rookie in a 6.5 for $60. And going through this case.
Could I look at the 63 Jim Brown?
Absolutely.
So this is another table that had a cool 63 Jim Brown that I wanted to take a closer look at.
Thank you.
You don't see that one very often.
Well, it's a tough one.
I've got a bunch of Jim Browns from one guy.
It's just that top to bottom center. I know this set is
They're
brutal.
All of them are. Most of them are like that. They're
Yeah.
really brutal. But it's a super clean one too.
Yeah, it is.
The second year, the 59's really nice too.
It's a really good price on this card. Really good.
I just got to decide if that centering was going to bug me top to bottom or not.
So I kept on moving. This table had some really cool ticket stubs. Some of them signed, from first home runs to appearances. There's Tiger Woods' first Masters appearance in the bottom right there. A couple of Disney tickets to the preview for the media before it opened. So we had a good time. I bought those Scoops cards. That's it. My dad picked up the Rickey Henderson and a few 1970 Topps basketball cards. But we had a great day. Just a few purchases, but a lot of fun.